That's so nice. How do you know that? She might be a nice lady.
Let's go. It's time. We're all play pants.
Okay, welcome aboard, everybody. He's Jason Ginty. My name is Rod Ryan, and this is the Play Pants Podcast. It's episode 61, baby.
What?
6 weeks in a row. And those of you that are watching on the YouTube channel, you can tell I'm a little excited about the NFL season starting up, okay? I went all in. I haven't purchased a football jersey in about 15 years. I'm a man in his 50s wearing a football jersey. Look at any list on the internet. It's not supposed to happen, okay? But I don't give a shit. I'm so excited about the Buffalo Bills. I went all in and got me a Josh Allen jersey this year. So check us out on YouTube. And we're just glad you're on board. We got a couple of things that we want to talk about. Jason scared me. He said he's got an email over there that he wants to share. Obviously, we want to talk a little bit about the Taylor Hawkins, the tribute show that went down this weekend. And then, boy, it's got to get you excited about what you're about to see in Los Angeles. I mean, good Lord, man, that was running the gamut of emotions with that. So we'll talk a little bit Taylor Hawkins, Foo Fighters, NFL. You mentioned a Dio documentary coming up. And this morning on the Rod Ryan show in Houston, Texas, I had to convince my boss to play the new Nickelback song.
Oh, shit.
We played a brand new Nickelback song.
Oh.
And Radio Wizard was not going to play it. I had to talk him into it.
Really?
And I gave him the old 50 million albums. I gave him the biggest rock band of the decade, 2000 to 2010. I threw all the stats. I said Rush has sold 40 million albums. Nickelback has sold 50 million albums. You mean to tell me we're not going to play a brand new song from this band that helped us get to the success that we are? So we'll talk about their album, and then I thought maybe we could turn that into a pretty decent top 5 today.
Top 5 Nickelback songs, Liz?
Don't be some douchebag out there on the internet. Come on now. I know that you're not a hater.
Dude, I mean, the Bee Gees, I was on board. Hall & Oates, I'm good. Nickelback, no, actually, I you know what? I think because we were there when Nickelback was coming out of the woods, you know what I mean? Like starting off with their first single and stuff. I mean, that's why I like Nickelback. And then seeing them over the years a bunch of different times. I don't care who the hell you are. If you want to hate on Nickelback, go see their live show. I've seen it 2 or 3 different times. They fucking rock. Dude, they rock live.
Last
great.
12 tours that they have gone out on have been all sold out tours. They're amazing live. It's a bunch of dickheads on the internet leading you to believe that everybody thinks that they suck. And they just were one of these bands, and we'll get into it. They just kind of got victimized because of their own success. You know, they're Def Leppard, man. They're Def Leppard. That's exactly who they are.
Yeah, you know, we've done this before. We should actually do this, but this will take a little extra effort on our part, which is probably never going to happen because we're lazy when it comes to this. But like doing correlations of bands from like the 60s and 70s to who their equals are now. Like I would say, I would think Nickelback, Def Leppard, because Def Leppard started out hot, kicked ass, and then all of a sudden everybody shit on them. Nickelback started out hot, kicked ass. Everybody started shitting on them. So I mean, there's a lot of correlations you can make between old bands, and I think we've done it with other acts before, but I can't remember any of that shit. So
I do think that those two bands they're very, very similar in not in the sound of the band, but in the trajectory of the band. It's weird because I'm sure the conversations and to be a fly on the wall with this Nickelback thing. I mean, Nickelback, they probably got 10 albums worth of shit sitting around ready to go, but I'm sure their label's like, look, man, y'all got to chill out for a while. You got to let the stink settle. Let the stink go away. Like, can you imagine the record labels and stuff and management saying, look, I know you got 14 albums ready to go because you guys are prolific. Let's just hold off for a minute and let some shit go down. And maybe all of a sudden there'll be this weird gap, and then all of a sudden there might be an appetite for Nickelback. It'll be it'll be interesting. Like we said just last week when we talked about the Bee Gees became uncool because disco became uncool. That did not stop them from their star climbing, and they just said, okay, well, people are kind of sick of looking at us and our chest hair, so we'll just write songs for people. And that was like a third amazing leg of their career. So Chad Smith's a great songwriter. You can't take that away from him. You just absolutely cannot. He's a great songwriter. So I look forward to getting into some Nickelback. What is this email you speak of?
Well, I actually, I've gotten quite a few little tidbits from our friends from the podcast over this last week. Because we talked about it last week before we went to the Labor Day holiday that we're going to do a 90s weekend on the station. And a lot of people checked it out. A lot of people loved it on my station here in New Orleans. And I just want to say thanks to everyone who listened to the podcast for checking it out last weekend. I do appreciate all the feedback. But I got a great email here. I think it came in over the weekend. It came in on like Sunday or Sunday. Came in Sunday. And I'm just going to go through this, Rod, and then you can start chiming in whenever you feel like it. But let me kind of walk you through this email because, we'll get into it. Okay. First of all, the subject line. Here it is. You ready?
No.
It's directed towards me through my work email.
Okay.
Through the radio station. The subject line.
Hey, douchebag.
No, that was the other ones. Hey, douchebags. Love the 90s show. No, here's the subject line. Are you a pirate? Okay. So I'll go on and read this.
Interesting.
It says, good morning. My son and I did the pirate pub crawl tour last night with the captain who works. He's one of the tour guides from Pirates of the Quarter Tours.
Our only sponsor on this podcast. They've been there since day one at Pirates of the Quarter on all socials.
The email goes on to say, I mentioned how much the captain looked like Jason Ginty. Talked a little about Rod Ryan and showed that I was wearing one of the Rod Ryan Show T-shirts on the tour here in New Orleans on the pub crawl. I am the one that he calls Kook Karen.
Cool.
Okay, so that's cool. Oh, she spelled it wrong. Kook is kind of funny though.
But so we've got all of these Karens that listen to us, and obviously the name Karen has taken on a whole new meaning over the last couple of years.
Sure.
And she's probably the most outraged by it. So we have cool Karens that listen to our show. So we don't have your typical Karens.
Gotcha. Okay. So then she goes on, says, I've listened to Rod for years and all that good stuff. And she says, then she goes on and she goes, I am really good with faces and better with voices. She says, I've been watching the Playpants podcast for a little while now, and I swear to God, you are the captain from Pirates of the Quarter Tours. Your face, your eyes, your facial features, your voice and gestures. No one could possibly have all those matches if it's not the same person.
Interesting. So
spill it. And then she went on to say a bunch of great things about your show, about the podcast. She's a big fan. She chimes in on our comments on the YouTube page.
Yeah, always leaves us great top 5 lists.
But she says, look, man, I took the tour and it was amazing. I loved it. But my gosh, I swear to God, it's got to be you. She says, if you are, that's cool. Your secret is safe with me. I just need to know. Okay. That was her email to me.
Yeah.
So I responded and I said,
fuck off.
I said, yeah, it's fucking me. I'm the captain from Pirates of the Quarter Tours. Yes, I am the sponsor of our own podcast.
How embarrassing. How embarrassing that the only sponsor of this show is one of the dumb hosts.
Well, you know what? Before we had 2 sponsors and it was both our shit.
I'm embarrassed.
I'm embarrassed too, actually. So I emailed her back and I said, yes, it is me. I said, I am the captain. I am the guy who puts on a freaking hat and a wig and pirate jacket and goes out and gives pirate tours on the weekends and in the evenings.
She didn't try needling you at all during the tour?
She kind of threw a couple of softballs out there and I just kind of blew past it and kept it going because look, it's a long story and I don't want to really get into it, but like when I'm doing that job, I am that job. You know what I mean? I walk away from radio, I walk away from podcasting, and I just become that job. That's what I focus on.
Can I ask you a question?
Fire away, dude. This is a good time for it.
What were you doing an hour before you were sitting with me right now?
I was doing a pirate tour, Rodney. That's why a lot of times I'm late to this fucking podcast because I literally run my ass from and that's why if you watch the YouTube, right, and you look
not
on
only
the video,
late, but you're the worst face washer ever. So now you can tell when you see Ginty on the YouTube channel, you'll see he's got a little gig liner on. I'm assuming you wear like some eyeliner and some goop on your face when you're doing this tour, and I know you do because I've been on it. Mm-hmm. And you must run home, take a shit, wash your face, and sit down and call me on Zoom to start doing this. And every time it gets worse and worse, you washing your face.
Because, and I'll tell you straight up, this is no joke. Because it takes me a while to get out of the gear, and then like I'm in the French Quarter, so I got to get out of the fucking French Quarter. And you know what that's like? That's never easy. And then
what are you giving a kiss tour? What's going on? What do you got to get in and out of over there?
Well, no, I'm in the French Quarter. Just getting out of the French Quarter is not easy.
Oh, you're talking about all this gear. I'm thinking you're getting out of your Gene Simmons boots.
Well, kinda, you know what I mean? Like, and then like I got to drive across town. So like I'm in this episode of fucking 24. In my head, all I hear is cha-chung, 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 because I know we're supposed to start at 7. And I text you, I'm like, fuck, it's gonna be 7:30. Sorry, dude. I know you get up at 2 a.m. So fuck it. I'm out here dressing and prancing around like a pirate in the French Quarter. So you can wait.
I'm like, get your fucking dumb peg leg pirate ass moving. Let's go.
So yes.
To do.
Yeah, we got a podcast with one sponsor that's fucking me.
Actually, I should have sent you some stuff. I'll have to cover it today then. I wanted to talk a little bit about we got a Boobs Rock golf tournament and we got a Boobs Rock car show. I want to get into that later too.
So long story short, yes, the Pirates of the Quarter tour is something I started with my brother like 6 years ago. And it's a walking tour company. And people ask me all the time, how the fuck did you do that? Well, long story short, I was doing a bunch of research, found a bunch of pirate information, and I was like, I should go take a pirate tour. And there wasn't one. And Rod, you know how it is when you're a businessman, or you fill a hole, you find a gap in the matrix, and you fill it with something that needs to be filled. So I did, and we did, and we've been doing it for 6 years. And it's I didn't know it had been 6 years. Yeah, a grown ass man running around dressed like a pirate in the French Quarter. That's what I chose to do with another portion of my life. Yes. I
feel so much cooler in my fucking football jersey right now. Like, okay, you can't say shit. You're running around dressed as a damn pirate. Okay. Captain Black. No. I'm just wearing a football jersey. Okay. Let me live my life.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. You know, somebody asked me the other day, like, dude, how did you fucking start doing this? And I go, I just took the information, created the tour, got with my brother. We set up a website, we did all this shit. And then there was a moment in my life where, as a grown man with a family, with children, with a real job, decided to dress up like a pirate, drive to the French Quarter, get out of my car, and show up in the streets of the French Quarter dressed like a pirate. And next thing you know, I did a tour. And that's how it all began. One tour.
I must have gone on one of the first tours, right? When you were kind of, it's like a comedian when they go up on stage and they're just kind of like working out some stuff. It was around the time of my wedding, and you took us all out. And I don't think you had officially started doing it yet.
No, that was just me kind of fucking around giving you guys a bunch of information about the city. The pirate tour thing started later. Yeah, I did do the same thing. I took a bunch of friends out and family members over a few times just to kind of bash out the material and see how it worked. And then I just refined it. And then today it's like, it smokes. It does. It smokes. I'll sit here and tell you, man, like that's why now, hopefully if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, now it's all going to make a lot more sense. As you listen to Rod do the spots, like there's always weird comments. We're always laughing, ha ha, a lot of inside shit. Well, now people know the truth. That it's just
spoiler alert, dude. You should have let me know. Like, bro, I'm dropping a bomb right out of the gate here of the podcast.
I just assumed everybody figured it out. I really did. I never thought to even go into it. So anyway, yeah, grown ass man will run around the French Quarter nowadays and doing pirate pub crawls and history tours, and it's a fucking blast. And we're 5-star rated all over the internet, and worldwide famous and all this crazy shit. It's wild. And I wouldn't trade a second of it because it is really interesting. It just makes me late for the podcast.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Glad I get to suffer here.
Well, someone's got to fucking. So Karen, yes, it was me, and it is me, and yeah, there's me and the other guy. The other guy happens to be my brother. So piratesofthequarter.com. When you come to New Orleans, fucking get ready to have some fun. Seriously. And that's enough for our sponsor for today, Rod. We don't even do the commercial now. I think we've done enough.
Well, how much of the Taylor Hawkins tribute did you watch?
7 hours.
Paramount,
dude.
Paramount Plus.
I just watched it on YouTube. I like punched YouTube up on my TV and just let it rip. I walked away a couple times. I didn't catch the Pretenders. I was never into that band, so I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go fucking wash my car. But like overall, I saw, fuck, dude. I mean, when you saw Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson come out of Rush, boom. I mean, those guys haven't played together since Neil died, right? Basically,
since he passed away, right? And then they did YYZ, which was Taylor's song, you know.
Fucking dude, it was so great. I mean, it was so brutal, so awful, so terrible, so great. It was all of those things. It was probably one of the coolest concerts I've ever seen. Like we were sitting here at the house and it's like talking about like how like Live Aid was so great and all these other things were great. Those big concerts for the world, to raise funds. But this was it's just carried a weird weight to it, obviously, for Taylor. But man, I was blown away, and I'm like, every time they brought another drummer, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, yeah,
I probably didn't even know like who Omar Hakim was and stuff. But
I'm like, who's the black dude playing the drums, man? Where's this guy? Yes, he's amazing. He just looked like he was bored. He was so good.
Yeah, he was a beast, and he's a beast of a drummer. But Josh Freese was the guy that did a lot of the drumming. Wow. And when Wolfgang Van Halen posted that picture and just said, "Oh, just some drummers hanging out," right? Even Tessa on the air asked me like, "Who's that?" And I said, "That's got to be Josh Freese." And I had just seen the picture, but then obviously he was tagged. So that guy is almost overqualified to be up there and jam those tunes. He has played with everybody. I think we talked about him a little bit last week. People were asking me this week, hey, do you think he would be the drummer of the Foo Fighters? I mean, again, maybe, overqualified, but yeah, but I still don't see it happening. I really don't. But Josh Freese would be an amazing fill-in. He did a lot of the fill-in. There was a guy on drums that looked a lot like Taylor Hawkins. Now, everybody knows that the son played, but there was another kid in there that looked like a surfer dude. He had the hawk tattoo. Yeah. He played like Taylor Hawkins. He looked like Taylor Hawkins. And that was Roger Taylor's son, the drummer of Queen. And he did a really, really good job.
Rufus. He's actually the drummer for the Darkness.
Yeah, so he plays in the Darkness, and then you had Justin Hawkins out there, no relation, and he was singing. I mean, for me, there's two moments. I mean, it just wasn't that simple for me to say that when Taylor Hawkins' son was playing drums, that was the best moment. Times like these was the best moment for me, and seeing Dave try to get through that because I had the exact same emotions going on. And that was what got me the most. I mean, seeing a grown man cry is never hard, never easy. And when you feel like you're somewhat connected to what's going on, that was the pivotal moment for me, was times like these. Don't get me wrong. Taylor's kid playing the drums was amazing. But it wasn't the best moment for me.
No. I agree. I thought when he did times like these, and again, not a musician, I'll defer to the musician on the podcast. What I was really kind of, besides the raw emotion, I mean, dude, I'm freaking, my eyeballs are welling up when I'm watching. I'm like, oh my God, how's he going to fucking get through this song? This is unbelievable. Yeah. But I thought it was interesting. And I started thinking about it like halfway through him trying to do the song, is like, there was no music played. It was just kind of like Rami, however you say his name, Jaffe, the keyboard player. He just had like a drone tone going, and then Dave just sang. So that way they knew going in he was not going to have an easy time. So they said, let's not fucking do anything. Let's just have something going, and he'll just sing however the fuck he wants to sing.
They're letting it breathe.
Yeah, just let it run, man.
Let it breathe and see what happens. I mean, believe me, Dave's emotions weren't canned or It wasn't scheduled. It wasn't planned. It was genuine. And I really, I think I got moved the most. Taylor's kid on the drums was phenomenal. The only thing that I haven't seen yet was Liam Gallagher. Did he open the show?
Yeah, and he opened.
And he did Live Forever.
Yeah, he did two songs. I don't remember what he did. He did something to open it, and then he did Live Forever. But yeah, he was great. I'm like, he still looks great. It still sounds great. Awesome.
It was Dave playing with him? Dave Grohl, you got to give it up to him. That guy, he was up there on stage with everybody, whether he was playing the drums, whether he was singing, guitar, bass, playing bass. I mean, the other moment probably for me was Wolfgang Van Halen. And
absolutely,
I did not know. Maybe you did. Okay. I met the kid. I saw him live. I didn't know he could fucking shred like that. They did Hot for Teacher, double speed, and he went note for note with his old man, and he didn't hit one clunker. Not one clunky note. There was no slop. There was nothing, and it was faster. Yep. I mean, they were playing. They were really playing a lot of the songs fast.
I think the adrenaline was part of it, and you got to keep in mind too that Wolfie doesn't play Van Halen shit on tour. He refuses to do it. He doesn't do it. He's been downplaying it. Everyone's been giving him shit online for a year.
But did you know he could do that? Did you know he could do that?
Play like that?
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't know it. I just assumed he could. I assumed he'd be great, but you know what? You got a lot of things going on with that. When Wolfie came out, I immediately stood up for obvious reasons, being a Van Halen fan. But I'm like, you know what? I hope the kid kills it. I hope he really goes, fuck everybody. I can play. And I didn't know if he's going to do a Van Halen song or if he was just going to fucking do a cover song of something cool.
But I knew that. But the fact, I mean, Dave set it up right away. Taylor was a huge Van Halen fan. As soon as he said that, they're doing Van Halen. As soon as he said Taylor Hawkins was a huge Van Halen fan, which we all know he was. He wore the Eddie red shorts, the stripes. I knew they were going to do Van Halen. I just didn't know what they would do. And we all know that Wolfgang did all the drums, guitar, bass, all the vocals on his album, like Dave Grohl did. He mentioned Dave Grohl. Even when I spoke with him, he mentioned Dave Grohl. He said, I wanted to do it like Dave did on that first Foo Fighter album. So those guys are connected right there. I don't know on the level of difficulty, where is Hot for Teacher? All I know is it's fucking Eddie Van Halen. And I think everything he did was hard. So I was completely, and I'm going to say it again. I just couldn't believe that he played that well. I knew that he played all the instruments well. I just didn't know he could shred like that.
It was insane. Well, you have to think, you go back and watch for like 4 or 5 songs. The cover band Chevy Metal was playing, right? And they had brought different people in out. Now, I don't know who the fucking guitar player is for Chevy Metal. Who is that guy? Dark hair. He was out there playing when Wolfie came out.
I didn't see that part.
They were great. That dude was all over the place. He was awesome. And I'm like, I should look up this guy's name. I didn't, but I will. Anyway, he was great. He was killing it. Well, Wolfie knows him because I guess everybody knows everybody out there in LA. And hold on. So Wolfie comes out and he starts playing. And immediately, the second he starts playing, I'm like, holy shit, he's fucking ripping through some Van Halen. And I'm like, wait a minute. How do I not know this fucking song? It took me like 10 seconds. And I went, holy shit, are they doing On Fire?
Yeah.
I haven't heard this song in 20 years and they've never played that shit live, at least as far as I can recall. And then I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Because this song rips. It just fucking shreds. And it was fast too. And they crushed it. And then when he does Hot for Teacher, I'm like, as soon as the drums start, I'm like, holy fuck, are they doing Hot for Teacher? I'm like, holy shit, Wolfie's got to play the guitar on this song? What the hell? And then I'm watching Dave Grohl's playing bass. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like my head is exploding as there's so much to take in on that song, those 2 songs. And then Wolfie just, like you said, it's faster. And that's a fast song. And he murders it.
Lick for lick.
Just kills it. So then you're thinking, oh my God, the emotions through the kid's head have got to be unbelievable. First of all, he knew Taylor, loves Taylor, but then this is the first time he's playing any Van Halen shit in front of anybody. His dad's been dead for a little over a year now. So
2 years, dude.
Yeah, 2 years. So this is a big moment for Wolfie. He's got to be losing his shit. So, I mean, the emotions on that stage that whole day, I mean, there's just, if you didn't think that shit was awesome, man, I don't know if you just don't have a heart. Like there's artists that came out that I didn't necessarily love, but man, when they played, you could see it on their faces. You could feel it. There was a different world happening on that stage the whole day.
But there was a reason for everybody up on that stage. Just even, getting emails and people talking about it all this week with me. You're like, what the hell is Chrissy Hine doing up there? Well, Taylor, number one, loved the Pretenders.
Love the Pretenders, yeah.
But then he invited her on the Coattail Riders album. So she was on his, he had a side project too, the Coattail Riders. And, and he invited a lot of people. Taylor's profile, because he was Dave's best buddy. And, even when Dave did interviews, it seemed like Taylor was there with him. And, he's the second highest profiled guy. So you think, okay, Dave Grohl knows everybody. He can pick up the phone and do whatever he wants. Taylor Hawkins was kind of like that too. And, he jammed with everybody. So you're talking about Chevy Metal. That was a thing, a side project that he did. That was when Dave wanted to go play with Queens of the Stone Age, which Josh Homme was there. And he did some singing at the tribute, right. But that was a way for Taylor to stay busy. And Taylor recorded a lot of stuff and played with a lot of people. I mean, if you look, he's a pretty well recorded drummer. He's on the Coheed and Cambria album just because for some contractual reason, the drummer couldn't do the album. So Taylor, he was the guy. Dave was probably too busy to call. So if you needed to go to, a hired gun, right? And if he was free, because Foo Fighters are always busy, Taylor Hawkins was the go-to guy. He played with everyone.
When you saw the different things, they showed clips like of different bands that couldn't make it. Like they talked to Slash and Duff, Chad Smith. They had little video montages and shit, and all just saying all the cool shit that Taylor did outside of being a rock star. And they all said kind of the same message throughout the things. And I had heard this through different interviews over the years, is that, Taylor would just call you up out of the blue and shoot the shit with you, make sure you're all right. He was just cool. And then like you hear that, or Nikki Sixx, and you hear it from Chad Smith, and you hear it from Duff, and you heard it from Slash, and I've heard it, Dave Navarro, and all these rock stars over the years. I'm like, when this fucking guy have time to play the drums? Yeah, he's on the phone talking to everybody. Like he just must have just been a nonstop 24/7. Either he's playing the drums or he's calling somebody. I'm like, how did he have time to do anything? Like it just seems like he was a badass. And then the story, I don't know if you saw that. The story that Chad Smith told from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, it was just a video thing that they showed.
I didn't.
Dude, it's like, so apparently, and Chad tells the story better than I will. I'm sure it's on YouTube, but he said, look, him and Taylor were friends, drummers. They were friends in LA. They did shit together. They knew each other very well. And there was a story that Chad said that Taylor would go over to the Guitar Center in LA all the time just to fucking wander around and bash the drums and hang out. And then kids would immediately come up to him and be like, holy fuck, you're Taylor Hawkins, And they'd go into the percussion room and they'd all just sit around playing and shit. And then Taylor would just take off and he'd tell stories and say, oh, do this, do that. And he'd kind of give a little clinic and then he'd bail. He'd only be there for a few minutes because it would get out of hand. So this went on for years. This is what he did when he was in LA. So one day the guy who ran the drum shop inside the Guitar Center called up the manager and said, hey man, you might want to call Taylor because someone is running up thousands of dollars on his credit card. And it's happening irregularly, but it's happened a lot lately. You might want to fucking call Taylor's people and say, hey man, someone's ripping through your boy's credit card. Someone got his cards. And the manager of Guitar Center said, no, it's okay. It's okay. Taylor's been buying. Any kids that come in, they're all looking at shit, how much they want it, how much they need it. He always talked about how important it was to have good gear to learn on. He was just buying it for the kids from behind the scenes and just giving it to them.
That's
and
awesome.
Never saying shit about it. Never said a word about it. I'm like, Jesus, what the hell, man? Oh, that's unbelievable.
Dave Grohl said that, hey, this next drummer, before he came out, he said he was a garbage man in Taylor's neighborhood. And Taylor befriended him and said, man, you're going to be a big star someday. And It's the drummer from Blink-182. It's Travis Barker, and he just befriended him before Travis was even a star. And he was Taylor's garbage man. And they got up there and they just ripped through some songs. And
he's so good.
Yeah, it was great. It was a drummer's dream to watch that stuff, man. It was really good. I knew it was going to be historic. I said that going into it. I said, man, you guys don't miss this going into the weekend. I get it. It's Labor Day weekend. It's on Saturday. It's weird to kind of find it where it's going to be and where you're going to watch it. MTV packaged up an hour. That was okay. I found it on Pluto TV. We'll see what's going to happen. You got to be excited about going to LA, dude, because it's just got to be. I mean, you got to be over the top over it.
Again, but it's weird because it's going to be great and it's going to be horrible. It's this push pull emotional chaos that happens because you're excited about seeing these guys, but then you're also there for a horrible reason. So it's like this.
It's a celebration of life.
I know, I get it, but
obviously, but secondary, tertiary. It's a terrible thing. But then you bury that, you put that underneath it, and it's like you're there to celebrate. You're there to party. I mean, every time they did a cutaway. There wasn't one time that they showed the fans that somebody wasn't bawling. Didn't matter what song was playing. I mean, it could have been Hot for Teacher. People are crying, I mean, so
it was great.
The only thing that I can even relate to is when I went to that one of those very last Tragically Hip shows, and I cried the whole thing. I cried the whole time. But I'm partying. I'm dancing, the lead singer of the Tragically Hip died of brain cancer. And he did, I think, 8 or 9 shows in Canada. And I went to one of the last shows. And you're looking at a guy that is not going to be here next year. And he's singing these songs that we grew up with, And there was just times where it's just heavy. So I imagine you're going to go through a little of that.
Yeah. And it's funny as I'm watching it, because I had said on our last podcast, and we've kind of talked about it a few different times. I'm like, I've said it. I'm like, man, this is probably going to be it for the Foo Fighters. And that's what I said last week. And I still kind of stand by that, but I don't stand by it as much as I was, because I get the feeling that, think about it. It was it's been months now since Taylor passed away. So some time has gone by. A little bit of healing has gone through. This performance by the Foo Fighters, especially when they did Times Like These and they got going through their set, it felt like that was that was kind of okay, we can do this. It's still horrible, but we can do this. Or is it just fuck it, we're done?
To cut you off is some of the emotion knowing that this is the second to last time I'm going to play this song with these guys.
Right. Which, I wanted to
have been part of it.
That's where I'm kind of back and forth on it now. So, I mean, hopefully they continue on some way, somehow. I would be happy with that, just to be able to see that band, because they are so great. But you know what I kept noticing the whole day, and maybe it's just me, maybe the guy's always like this, is Nate Mendel, the bass player. Just, if you go back and watch anything, he just looks fucking absolutely crushed the whole day. The poor guy just looked devastated. Every time he was standing there with the band, he just looked crushed. He's playing. Now, he had some smiles throughout the day, but he just looked fucking destroyed the whole day. Like he was just dragging ass through.
He's the bass player. I mean,
exactly.
He's the least dynamic guy in the band.
Right.
He's a great bass player. He sits back. He's in the pocket. He's not flashy.
But he just really looked like it was a hard day. Well, think about it. Your bass player and your drummer. I mean, who the fuck are you locked in with usually, right? Isn't that how that works in the musician world? I mean, so he lost his guy. No one talks about that. They're all like, "Oh, poor Dave, poor Dave." Fucking bass player and a drummer. They're musically speaking, they're talking a language that none of us will ever understand.
Right.
So it's weird. I don't know, but I'm glad it happened. I think it happened really well. I think it was well put together. The LA thing is going to have a few of the same acts, but it's going to be a lot of different stuff. I'm interested, and I was talking to my wife about this. I'm really curious to see what Alanis Morissette does, because he drummed for her on that big tour, the Jagged Little Pill tour, and they were tight. And that if she wants to, she can rip fucking tears out of your eyes at the drop of a hat anytime she wants to. So what is she going to sing? What is she going to do that's going to just crush?
She's got to do You Ought to Know. Hands down, she has to do that. Okay. It's a rock audience. She's got to do that.
But then she's going to do something fucked up.
You Live, You Learn. You live, you learn.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, that's when he was out on tour. That was the Jagged Little Pill tour that he was with him. So she's got to do 2 songs off of that album. Unless you're right. They could easily just throw in a cover.
She could pull out something that's going to just crush people. And because it seems like that if anyone's going to do it, she's got the power to do it, the voice. So I know Gene Simmons is supposed to be out there. The lineup is different. So yes, we're very excited in a weird way. But yeah, we can't wait. My son is going to go out. He didn't really watch a whole lot of this. He was not into it. I'm like, okay, well, you got a long night ahead of you, bro, when we go to LA, because that thing was fucking 7 hours long or whatever.
Yeah. Let's see. All I Really Want, Hand in My Pocket. No. You Learn. That's what I think she'll do. You Ought to Know. Head Over Feet. Perfect. Forgiven.
Yeah,
Mary Jane.
See, I don't know.
You Learn. You Live, You Learn.
It could be. I don't know. We'll see. But that one, I was like, if anyone could do something really that's going to get you in the guts, it could be her. You know?
Yeah.
It could be her. And I think Wolfgang's on it again. So it'll be interesting to see what he does differently if they do. I would hope they would. I'm sure they will. I don't know. It's going to be interesting because will that be it? Will that be thank you, good night? And that's good night forever, you know?
I don't know. But football starts tonight, Daddy-O. Football, Buffalo Bills kick off the 2022 season, taking on the Super Bowl champions in LA. Ozzy Osbourne will be lip syncing the halftime show.
I'm being held up by bats.
I just, why, Sharon, let the guy retire. I mean, we don't have to get into a whole lot of football, but you were telling me off podcast that you haven't really been bitten by that bug yet. Dude, I have been bitten. And I told you a couple of weeks ago when I started watching Hard Knocks, that got me into it. Like, I'm fucking all in. It helps when your favorite team is, I just sent you the Peter King predictions, and he's predicted the Buffalo Bills to go and win the Super Bowl. I could send you stuff. Josh Allen's been picked by all the sports writers to be the MVP this year. It's kind of scary. You know, some of our buddies from Buffalo, they're hitting me back going, yeah, I don't like it. No. I don't like everybody predicting all of these good things for us because then they're not going to happen.
It's the kiss of death. You texted me the graphic of the Bills win the Super Bowl. I'm like, oh, that's the kiss of fucking death right there, dude. That is I mean, obviously that's what I want to see happen. That's exactly what I want to see happen this year. But man, when you are predicted to do it, oof. And now they're good. That's a good fucking team. That's a really good team, and they got a good shot at it.
If you're feeling like you're not there yet, which I'll just come there and I'll slap you. Like, I can do that. I can get there probably before kickoff. I can grab a 4:00 flight. I'll be there.
Cool.
I can come there and just kind of slap you around a little bit. Or you could just watch. It came out this morning, the Von Miller hype video.
Really?
He's like, this is why I'm here. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings on his hand. And he's like, listen, I want another one. And he said, take the wide right, take the Memphis City Miracle, take your 13 seconds. He said, burn it all. Burn it all.
Christ.
So they released this hype video, and I follow along a lot of these t-shirt companies from Buffalo. And dude, it wasn't, geez. I mean, they got to have designers just sitting there ready to go. It wasn't an hour and a half after that, like the 713, the one Buffalo site that I go to, the 716, they were selling, they were already taking orders for Burn It All shirts. I mean, it was on top of it, man. Watch the Von Miller video that he put out this morning, and it'll get you hyped, because he said, listen, I'm here. He goes, I know why I'm here. He goes, I chose here. You know, Von Miller could have gone wherever. I mean, provided they had his money. This is the guy that's signed a $100 million contract. But he said, he goes, no, this is different. I got picked to go to Denver. You know, I did these other things. He goes, I chose Buffalo. That's why I'm here. I'm here to get this city a ring. And, you know, he's showing off his 2 already. He goes, I want a 3rd. He did make a mention that I don't know if we were projected to take him when he came out in the draft, but he said that there was some lineage, like history, where like he said something like, I was supposed to already have been here. It's really good, dude. It will get you pumped up.
I'll check it out. I'll be, as soon as the game comes on tomorrow, I'll be excited. I will. Because it's like, you know, the preseason stuff, I'm over preseason so hard. I'm like, who gives a shit? This is dumb. Why are they doing preseason? I mean, go play in a field somewhere. Don't even televise it. Who cares? But like, as soon as I see the lights come on tomorrow night, I'll stay up, wait, I'll watch the game. I'll be into it. I'll fucking be screaming and yelling. I'll be excited. Tomorrow I'll be excited. But up until this point, I just haven't given it a lot of dedication. And the Saints are going to be pretty good. But we got a new coach and all this weird shit. So I'm kind of like, okay, we'll see what happens. It'll take me a couple of games, but I'll be excited.
I do respect Peter King. And
hell yeah.
He was the one that put out that projection that I sent you that I was so excited about today. And he's got the Saints going to the NFC Championship game, losing to Green Bay, and Bills Green Bay Super Bowl. Bills win. But he's got the Saints riding all the way to the NFC Championship game. So he's thinking high things for the Saints.
Dude, a Saints Bills Super Bowl. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Wow.
You fucking get your blue and red on, get your mind right, and let's go. That's what you do.
Yeah, people have always asked me if that ever happened. I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm a Bills fan now, baby. I'm Bills, man. Let's go. Saints got their Super Bowl. All right, we're good. Okay, now it's all about the Bills from here on out, man. You know, the Ozzy thing. That's fucked up. That's going to be a shit show. It's going to be bad. He's 190 years old, dude. He can't stand up. The song he's going to do is not even very good.
Well, he'll do Paranoid and he'll do the new song. He'll do a little of the new song and then they'll launch in the Paranoid. I mean, I'm sure that's
Crazy
the deal.
Train and
Crazy. I'm sure that's the deal that Sharon cut. I don't know what those games were that he played. Him and Tony Iommi. It was some kind of world games, some soccer thing, something, I don't know, about 3-4 weeks ago. And, you know, he's not singing. I mean, he's absolutely not singing.
Right.
There's just times where he's so off. You can just tell it's a track, you know. It's great. It's Ozzy, the Prince of Darkness, all of that. I love Ozzy, but you got to call it in because we went to go see him at Voodoo. That's got to be going on 10 years now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's going on 10 years now, and that was bad. And then I went, and I'm glad, bucket list, check it off. I went to go see Black Sabbath. Okay, Black Sabbath, check it off my list. Ozzy can't sing, you know? I mean, with all the help that he's getting and all the tracks and the clicks and everything and all the enhancements that are on his microphone and the processing, they still can't get him to hit the notes. So
no, it sucks.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's like, I don't see the thought process.
It's just over. It's just you are what is it? What is it? You're staying way too long at the party. You're way too long at the party. You can say that about everything. You say that about me and my radio career. It's like, dude, a little too long at the party. So, you know, who the hell am I to tell this rock legend, arguably the greatest metal singer of all time? He's not the greatest metal singer of all time, but he's in the discussion.
Sure.
That you're at the party too long. You know, Kiss. You're staying at the party too long. You know, but they're cashing checks. It
is weird, but there's, you know, anytime you see these things happen, it's never just, whoa, they're going to put Ozzy on it because they think it's going to be a ratings getter. No, that fucking football game is going to be the ratings getter. You don't need Ozzy because it's Thursday night football between the Super Bowl champions and obviously one of the best teams in the NFL going head to head. It's the first regular season game. Ratings are going to be just fine without Ozzy being there. But Ozzy's got some other, you know, he's got a TV show he's going to do. I don't know if what network is the game on? Is the network involved in promoting that? I mean, you know, there's a lot of layers here. There's a reason for it.
That reality show that he's doing is just going to be an English show. You know, I mean, it's him moving back over there. So, yeah, I don't think it's like the Osbournes unless they end up carrying it. I mean, he's such a big name and Sharon's such a big name here. I don't know. I just don't think it'll be very popular because As soon as I put it up online, oh, I thought he was leaving. You know, people don't take kindly to people shitting on the U.S. and then saying that they're leaving, you know.
Right.
They're not originally from here. And it kind of does seem like they're one of the people that are going through with it.
Yeah. No, they're moving.
Johnny Depp and, you know, and Baldwin and all these guys. Nobody moved. Nobody fucking moved. You know, if Hillary Clinton doesn't win, I'm leaving. Nobody left.
No,
so
leaving. It's
Sharon and Ozzy, they're like, hey, we're out of here. It seems like they're going, you know,
but they've always been back and forth. So it's like, who cares? Go ahead, do your thing. Yeah, it doesn't matter, man. If people want to move, good. See ya. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I got things to do.
It's a little easy because you probably hang on to that dual citizenship, so you can kind of slide back and forth a little easier. If you're pissed at one, you hang out on one side of the pond more than the other.
You know what? Old people go from New York to Florida all the time. I know it's the same country, but Jesus, who cares? Go live where you want. I don't give a shit. Do what you want, man. Go snowbird it up. Dude, so I didn't even know. This kind of came out of left field. Fucking Nickelback with a new song. Okay, let me just ask you this before we, get into our top 5. Honestly, was the song good? Because I haven't heard it yet. The new song.
The song sounds just like Nickelback. It's a rocking Nickelback song. Crystal may have sent me the email this morning. She said, Rod, love you, love the show, love Nickelback, like you, like the music, didn't care for the lyrics that much. The song is called San Quentin, and it's not, I talked about what a great songwriter he is, and these lyrics might be a little dopey. He met a prison guard in San Quentin, and that's the name of the song. It's a rockin' song. It's kind of like Animals. It's a fast up-tempo rockin' song. As soon as the guitar hits, you know exactly who it is. As soon as the vocals hit, you know exactly who it is. And I say this ad nauseum on this podcast, and I say it when the microphone's off at my radio station. You gotta dance with the guy that brought you to the dance. And Nickelback is one of those bands. The biggest band of the decade, 2010. They had the biggest single rock song of the decade, and they were the biggest rock band of that decade. Okay. Everybody was playing them.
Oh God.
You got to dance. You got to dance with who brought you to the dance. Part of the success of my radio station here and many radio stations, because of Nickelback.
Yep.
They helped out a lot. So you got to give them the benefit of the doubt. When Bush comes out with a new song, you know what? Gavin's been good to us. Let's play it. And then if it sucks, then it sucks. But you got to put it out there. So this goes back to Radio Wizard was not going to play the song. So here's me talking to you, and I'm arguing.
Right.
50 fucking million records. You're not going to give them one spin? And then he's like, well, not on the morning show. I'm like, yeah, on the morning show. Yes, on the morning show.
Yeah.
Now, he trusts us. He trusts our audience. Our audience, they play along. I make them. You got to swear you're not going to push the button. You got to stay listening. If you listen to it, if you hate it, call me and tell me you hate it. But do not leave this radio station. I'm about to play something new. And you know how that works. That's scary because you don't do that in the morning.
Right.
98% positive.
Really?
Yes. And every phone call. So I took quick 6 calls, and Chili, did you only send me the calls that I wanted to hear? He goes, no, sir. He goes, no, sir. He goes, wow. That's them in order. I said, send them to me with the warts and everything. If somebody wants to say that's the worst piece of shit they ever heard, send them through.
Yeah, absolutely.
All 6 calls liked it. It's a rock song, dude. And Chili had the line this morning. He said, listen, for those of you, I said, oh yeah, well, the Buzz used to rock. Well, asshole, this rocks. Don't tell me you don't like it then. Okay. This rocks. So I don't know. I'm sure Wizard's got his work cut out for him, what he's going to do with that song. He was not planning on playing it. It's a good song.
It's going to be interesting because, it'll be fun to watch what it does. Who's going to jump on that song now because look, to go behind the curtain, which we love to do on this program, is there's different charts. Okay. You always hear, oh, this song is number one. Well, there's the Billboard Hot 100, which is your top 40 or your dance songs. Dua Lipa's that's the top of that one. Lady Gaga, that's that world, right? They have the alternative or the modern rock chart. That's where you're going to see where, Rod's station, The Buzz, my station here in New Orleans, that's what we kind of look at. Then you've got like your active rock or your mainstream rock, which is a different chart. So what's going to happen here, Rod, is Nickelback is going to go squirming its way up, probably on the active rock charts. I would assume, I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it'll go to number one because it's been a minute. It's been a while for Nickelback.
And there's not that many active rock stations anymore. So
not like there used to be. But then the alternative world, that son of a bitch is not going to get it. It won't see top 20. It won't see top 20.
No, easily. No. But do they have a crossover on this album? Because Sunny 99.1 at work. Okay. We have
network.
We have this behemoth, this radio station that you listen to at work, and they are a powerhouse. They have fucking Nickelback in rotation over there, dude. So do they have what? I mean, Chad has, I think when the band, this song, it was not surprising to me that sounded the way that it sounded. The band is a rock band. Their roots are in classic rock. They were fucking best friends with Pantera. Okay.
Yeah.
They went on tour with Pantera. They love those guys. That's what they come from. They're rockers. You released that first song to let you know that we still rock, but we are 48 now. And that was pretty cool being played on the at work stations. I also wrote one of those. And Chad he can straddle that. I talked about the Goo Goo Dolls who name was just the first, like, okay, Johnny can write. Once Iris hit and there was fucking violins in the studio with the Goo Goo Dolls, they were never turning back.
Nope. That
was the direction. They did not care about being on alternative and rock radio anymore. And most people don't even remember them being in that space. Mm-hmm. You and I do. That's it. Nobody remembers them being in that rock/alternative space. They just didn't look back. Like, okay, all that shit, that's just old shit now. Nickelback still wants to show that they rock.
But you made the point earlier about them being Def Leppard. Yeah, Def Leppard would come out with a rocker and then hit you with a power ballad. Nickelback is notorious for that. They hit you with that. Nickelback has that formula. I think that's what got them in trouble too, is that they were very formulaic. They come out with that rocker straight up, melt your face song. Then they had the ballad. Then they had the goofy song. They always had that weird, haha, we're funny song. They had the shitty lyrics. Rockstar was kind of like the first one. And they had a bunch of different ones like that. It's like, okay. And then the next album comes out. Oh, which one of these songs is this going to be? Is this going to be the rocker? Is this going to be the ballad? Is this going to be the funny haha song? You know what I mean? Like they really fell into that formula. It felt like, and I think that got them in trouble too.
It just made them more mass appeal.
It did. Absolutely.
You're right. But trouble also means more people.
Absolutely.
Like when you say trouble, it turned them on to all these new ears. Yep. I mean, Photograph, it's the meme song. It's the song that you think of a meme immediately when you hear that song. And it's not necessarily all bad. It's not all bad. That's what you think of. It's like, okay, boom, they check that box.
Oh, yeah, they check a lot of boxes.
They check a lot of boxes, and it's just so that now that we're talking about it, Nickelback casts one of the widest nets of any band out there.
Yeah.
Think about the number of charts they can be on at the same time.
And
there's very few bands that can do that.
They've done it a bunch of times. And you know what? You make the point of mass appeal. Yeah, they did cover all the boxes, but that's where it gets a little weird for some guys. It's like your guy who makes a comment, and I get this comment constantly. Well, you guys used to rock. You guys are pussies now. You guys don't rock. All you play is Imagine Dragons, man. Mm-hmm. Hey, fuck off. Imagine Dragons are pretty hot right now. Yeah, we're going to play the Imagine Dragons, you dumbass. And we're not playing Pantera all day. Sorry. Got to get ratings, revenue. You can't do that. That's not how this works. Plus, sorry, get off my lawn. You're old. Hate to break it to you, bro. Yeah. But this is a different radio station because we have to evolve. I think Nickelback got themselves in trouble. It was like your example a few podcasts ago about Def Leppard. I'd show up and I fucking the first album, the second album, Pyromania, and then they started writing all those chick songs. Fuck them. That's what Nickelback did. Dude, I mean, they're Def Leppard. They really are Def Leppard. Holy shit, the more I think about it. But it's the same thing. That's where it turned a lot of guys off. So all those guys are the fucking morons out there on Twitter. Fucking Nickelback. All they write is ballads for chicks. They cash a lot of checks too. Sorry, bro.
They wrote some good songs, man. So Nickelback has a new album coming out. It's called Get Rollin'. It'll be out November 18th. The brand new single, San Quentin. Listen, I don't think it's going to be something that gets put in heavy rotation, but I can tell you, I forwarded all of the good, the bad, the ugly. I sent them all to the radio wizard, and he probably got about 50 emails from me today. I forwarded them all over to him. And he was blown away. He was blown away. He's like, shit, now what? Which is a good problem to have.
Well, see,
we played something that people like. Now what am I going to do? It's not that simple, guys. You probably say, well, just play it.
Well, yeah, but see, that's where it gets fucking weird. It gets real weird with alternative radio. Okay, look, you're an alternative rock station, right? I'm an alternative rock station in New Orleans. People have conjured up in their heads, and partly our fault in the industry, alternatives should be cool and hip, and the guy with the big hat and the beard and the vest, man, alternative, dude. But really, alternative at this point just fucking means, does it sound cool? Is it fairly new? That's kind of alternative radio. And alternative radio, when we were in it, it really meant an alternative to the mainstream. Take risks, take chances. Well, look, playing Nickelback may not sound like a risk, but you know what? It is. And you did it. You took the risk. It's a different risk. It's like, fuck, should we play that? Yeah, we should. And you did. Now, to see where Nickelback goes over the next couple of weeks, I can't wait to watch it and see what happens. I'll give you an example that's crazy, and I don't have the facts exactly correct. Donny Osmond. This is a fucking shift.
You're going to be fucking throwing fake Osmond numbers at me?
Donnie's
you don't
real.
know him?
Donnie's a real guy. Donny Osmond.
What? Okay.
And I don't remember the years, and I don't remember the fucking song or none of this shit, but
they call it puppy love.
It wasn't that old. It was a more recent song. I think it was late 80s, maybe early 90s. And he was trying to make like a comeback. He wanted to kind of have a pop star situation, right? So he made this song. It's sort of rock-ish, a little bit pop rock-ish. And he went to, I don't know if it was in New York, or he went to a radio station. He said, and they didn't say who it was. They didn't say shit. They just said, hey, we got this new song. We're going to play it for you. And they played it. And the phones lit the fuck up. Everybody loved the song. Holy shit, who was that? Oh my God, that is great. That's amazing. Holy shit. And then they go, oh, it's fucking Donny Osmond. People were like, oh. But he had to do that because he knew his name had a bunch of stink on it. Like you just made jokes, right? So it's like that. So it's like, do you do that with Nickelback? Do I go on the air tomorrow and go and just fucking go, here's a new song and not say a word, see if people figure it out?
You can't. Because like I said, note one of the guitar. As soon as Chad starts singing, it's like, it's Nickelback. So people hadn't heard Donny Osmond in forever. Right. I'll give you a similar example. Obviously Duran Duran ruled the 80s, but then Duran Duran became uncool, for a little bit, and they just weren't writing big hits, and they just kind of were getting like put in the back burner a little bit. And then they kind of went away for a while, and then they came out with that song Ordinary World, and it didn't sound like 80s Duran Duran, and it was a really good song. And the same thing, programmers and everybody were wondering, where does this fit? What do we do? Because this is a really good song. There were radio stations that played that song that didn't play Duran Duran. Wow. They just, it was, I imagine that, at work radio and stuff, that was a great fucking song. It wasn't Rio, it wasn't Hungry Like the Wolf. It was a totally different sound. It was a little bit older, wiser, cooler, adult Duran Duran. And they didn't have a whole string of hits, but they did come back out of nowhere and they had a huge song.
I don't know if this will be the song for Nickelback to do that, but it's cool to see them back. And I think that, there's not a ton of shit out there that has a guitar. I mean, there's some bands out there, there's some stuff, but if at the end of the day, record labels want to sell some records or some downloads or whatever the fuck it is they sell these days, you need a band with a name, and Nickelback's got the name, good or bad. People are going to buy it. You watch the streaming numbers and all that shit. They're going to, as they say in the biz, move some units, Rod. Nickelback's going to move some units.
And it'll be interesting to see moving forward if they make themselves available for some Christmas shows for radio stations. There's a lot of that goes on. And it'll be interesting to see the timing of them putting this album out right now. Well, you would have thought they wanted to get it out beforehand and go out and tour on it all summer. And, that just wasn't in the cards for them. So what's their move? Do they wait? Do they announce a tour first of the year? Do they do something? I mean, what I would do if I'm Nickelback's management, I'm trying to get the ads. I'm trying to get on the air. I'm making my band available. If you got a Christmas show, you got something, book them now. Yep. Get in there now. We'll do some select things, and then boom, we're going out on a big tour. And they still will tour, and they will play when they come here. I think they will still play the Toyota Center. They will still play the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans if they come. I still think that they got that. I think they're there. There's just so many hits. If they take along some decent tour support, then I think that no problem. They're still playing arenas.
They will. And you got to keep in mind this factor too. Okay. They were hot 2000, 2010. That was their heyday. It's fucking 12 years ago, 2010. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's a little nostalgia now. If you were Nickelback back then, you're in high school or whatever the situation was, that generational thing, dude, fucking Nickelback's playing, bro. Let's go. You know what I mean? There's going to be that. They're going to capitalize on that too. And you know what? When they play live, it's a fucking hit machine. It's song after song after song. You're like, holy shit, I forgot Nickelback had all these hits, and they got a lot of them, man. So I want to hear your top five, dude. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be wild. Okay. I want to hear your top five fucking Nickelback songs. Dude, later on, I got to put this thing together, and I got to put it out in the world. I got to write top 5 Nickelback songs. This is going to be fun. I wonder how much shit we're going to take for this. It's going to be fun to watch.
Bring them on. They're not my favorite band, but man, I don't mind defending them. I really don't. I don't. I was with them on the ground floor when the album first came out. I was with them on that first. I mean, obviously, nobody really knew them on that very first album, Curb, I think. Curb. But they came. I think we learned about them when we were in Buffalo before we made the move to New Orleans. Canadian radio had been playing them. So the Canadian radio got in on them early.
Wow.
So this is 96. Curb was 96.
Okay.
So we get down to New Orleans in 97, 98. Budweiser comes to me. I'm the music director of the station that Jason and I work at. And our good friend Brian Stager comes to me and it's like, hey, Budweiser has $10,000 to spend on a band. That's the level of band that, we can get. So this is late 90s. They got $10,000 to spend. And I said, Nickelback's going to be huge. I promise you, dude. I promise you. I said, Nickelback's going to be huge. Wow. Budweiser took me at my word. We got them. They played the Howlin' Wolf, and it was a Budweiser show. It was a free show. And we paid Nickelback $10,000 to play the fucking Howlin' Wolf, which you got to help me with that. You can put 600 people in there.
Maybe 600. Yeah. Something like that. It's a 500, 600, 700, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. It's tight. It's small. It's very small. Yep. Sweaty.
I said Nickelback's going to be huge, guys. I mean, I didn't get a lot right picking music, but I got that one right. And you're welcome, bud. You're welcome.
Well, thank God you saved Budweiser, Rod, and you created Nickelback. That's a lot in one day. That's a lot, dude. That's a lot. That's pretty good.
Listen, we both put on our pants, but when I put mine on, I picked Nickelback to be huge.
I wear fucking pirate hat. So there you go. What did we learn today? Jesus.
Okay. My top 5. There's a lot to choose from, man. There are a ton of hits. I love just like Def Leppard. Love those early albums. I mean, those early albums are unbelievable, man. I mean, Silver Side Up is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous album. And that's 2001. All right, here we go. In at number 5, from the album All the Right Reasons, that's 2007, Side of a Bullet.
Ooh, that is good.
Side of a Bullet. I remember playing it. I remember when it came out. I remember when they released it as a single. The story that came along with it, it was just the stuff that you as a DJ being on the radio, you dreamed of telling a story like this. I told you earlier that Nickelback and Pantera were great friends. They toured together. Okay. I mean, they were good enough for Dimebag Darrell, guys. You know, I mean, Nickelback, he respected them. He loved them. He loved Nickelback. Okay. Dime. So Dimebag Darrell obviously tragically gets gunned down. Chad was good friends with him. He writes the song Side of a Bullet, talking about etching your name in the side of a bullet. They find an old guitar solo from, I believe it's from Vulgar, Display of Power. And his brother gave him the okay. And that girlfriend who always like had to sign off on everything. They were never married. They're always talking about that girlfriend. They signed off on it. They were able to incorporate a Dimebag Darrell guitar solo in the song.
Jeez.
And Chad wrote around it.
Right.
Chad wrote around the song, and that means Dime gets writing credit on that song. So more money was coming in, and it was a single. So I imagine that helped out, you know, whoever was getting Dime's money, that helped out a lot. I mean, that was a hit for them. Jeez. You know, it was a hit. It was a radio hit for them. So you get points, album, song credit, writing credit. That's money, man. Side of a Bullet. Fucking great song. It's a rocker. It's my number 5. In at number 4, Their Stairway to Heaven is How You Remind Me. And I just couldn't leave it off the list because it's so fucking popular. I couldn't do it. Okay. These 5 words in my head. Are we having fun yet? Billboard top rock song of the decade. Yeah. Okay. I can't shit on it because it got overplayed. I can't. I got it as my number 4. 1.2 million radio spins back in the day.
Jesus.
And that's, and we talked about this. It's on rock stations. It's on alternative stations. It's on pop stations. It's crazy. KRBE here plays. They might still play it. Everybody was playing that song. So I get it. If you heard it, you don't need to hear it anymore. I couldn't shit on it and not put it in my, it's a great song. And these are always our favorite songs. Number 3 from Silver Side Up, way back 2001. Never Again. Never Again is this.
Yeah, I forgot about that damn song.
It's this domestic violence song. Yeah. And spoiler alert, she fucking kills the guy. Yeah. You know, kicking your ass would be a pleasure. It's a rocker too, man. But yeah, it tells a story, and this fucking woman had enough and domestic violence, and she shoots him in the song. Sorry, spoiler alert. Never Again in at number 3. In at number 2, I already made reference to the lyrics. This is from the Dark Horse album. We're going out tonight to kick out every light. Burn It to the Ground. It's still a fucking party anthem. If that song comes on, that's like living La Vida Loca. You don't want to be around me, okay? If I got a beer in my hand, that beer is going to go down quickly, and you better get another one for me immediately. Burn It to the Ground is a fucking, I mean, it's like an AC/DC song. It's just, It's a fucking party song. I want to start throwing elbows. Okay. You know what? I want to go out tonight. I want to kick out every fucking light, Chad, with you. Where are we going? When are we leaving? Let's go kick out some lights.
No, I mean, did
you guys kick out street lights when you were little?
No, I wasn't that kind of guy. How do I kick them out? They're way the fuck up in the air. What are you talking about?
You didn't. So the street lights on your street, they were on a wooden pole, and the street lights, you could kick them hard enough. You could kick out a light.
Oh, gee. Oh, I got you. Because the vibrations of the pole would shake it.
Yes. So you would have to really, I mean, you would be sitting there. Usually the quote unquote, the big kids, you know, it was a sick flex. It was kind of similar. If you made that happen, number one, you looked fucking cool. You were Fonzie. You were Fonzie starting up the jukebox with with your fist. But that's what I think about. Like when Chad Kroeger were going out tonight to kick out every light, we would go out and kick out streetlights. So I don't know, maybe this is a personal thing. We would do that. So that's my number 2 and my number 1. Sometimes I kind of get sucked into this and I'm reminded of what it was like to discover the band and what I was going through and how I discovered them. Like I discovered them.
Yeah. You did it.
How I got Budweiser, the deal of a century. Okay. I got him in the 6th round. I got the Tom Brady pick. Okay. I got him for 10 grand. Leader of Men.
Yeah.
Leader of Men is their grunge song. It's grunge is happening and it sounds like the time, and they didn't stay there. You know, they did evolve,
yes.
they did evolve. They did shift a little bit, but if you go back and listen to Leader of Men, it's a grunge sounding song of the time.
Yeah.
And it's still my favorite song because it's just one of those songs that constantly builds the whole way. Kind of like AC/DC Thunderstruck. It never like stops building. And Leader of Men does that too. And it's always been my favorite song. A lot has to do with the sentimentalness of, that's the first song I ever heard by them. And
after you discovered them.
After I discovered them, and then I get them to come down to the station. They play.
It's amazing.
And they played for Laura Jones early days they came into the studio and they did that acoustic, and it's their best song. It's their best song. It's my favorite song, Leader of Men.
It is great. It is great. But that's when Chad had the ramen noodle hair, right? That's that level of
right. But they were doing that really, really cool double vocal thing.
Yeah.
Nobody really talks much about Ryan. And it's not Chad's brother. Chad's brother is the bass player. And I don't know how much he sings, but Ryan sings everything with Chad. Yeah. And that was that really cool, eerie dual vocal thing too, that fucking Alice in Chains is the best at.
Yep.
But Nickelback is right there with that dual vocal, man. I mean, Chad doesn't do that shit on his own. I mean, no doubt about it. Chad's the lead singer, but boy, Ryan, he is right there on every one of those songs.
And I wanted to point this out too, just to go back to the people who hate Nickelback. One of the nicest bands you're ever going to meet. The nicest guys. They're Canadian. They say please and thank you. I actually I'm not fucking hate when I do this. I dig myself a hole every time.
Story.
I met the band one time. They were here years ago and I got to go backstage. Hey, how you doing? Take the picture, all that shit. And dude, they couldn't have been nicer to everybody. Like, and I know that you're on when you're doing the meet and greet in the photo with the fans and shit, but they were just so genuine and thank you. Oh, watch yourself now, take care. Okay, well, good to see you. Oh, that's great. Hey, thanks for bringing that. Oh, yeah, sure, I'll sign it. I mean, they were just so welcoming, taking extra time with everybody. In the there's always the handler. Fucking let's get up there, hurry up, take the picture, get out. Chad's like, hold on, man. I want to talk to this guy for a second. It was like, holy fuck, that's just cool. That's
been my experience every time. That's been my experience.
Very, very, very cool. So my top 5, and I got a couple of, and I'm not going to put them in my top 5, but a couple of songs I want to talk about that are great too is, we'll get to that in a second. God damn, I went full on hits, dude. I went full hit machine. And what's really interesting about the fact that we're doing this right now is it's like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was looking for something else in my CD collection. And I went by all my Nickelback shit.
CDs over here.
And I went, there's a bunch of kids on my lawn. I told them to get off. And I looked through the Nickelback. I'm like, when's the last time I fucking so I put it on. I'm like, God damn, I forgot these guys could write some songs. Like I became acclimated because I can't tell you the last time I heard a Nickelback song. And nobody in New Orleans, I don't think I've heard a Nickelback song on the radio in quite a few years. You know what? And I've nosed around and kind of in my head wrestled around for a minute. And then, of course, always said, nah, probably not going to do that with Nickelback. But with the new song, I'm going to see how that plays out. So I went down my Nickelback rabbit hole actually a couple weeks ago, which was very timely, actually. Number 5, How You Remind Me. It's their home run. It's their biggest hit. You talked about it. And I know it was overplayed, and I know it beat you in the ground, but go back and listen to it with fresh ears. If you haven't heard it in a while, it's a great, great freaking song. It really is. It's just a great song. How You Remind Me.
The song of the decade for a reason. There was one song that was given the song of the decade. It was that one.
It's amazing. It really is a great song. And I get it. Oh, it's overplayed. Yeah, I know. You know what song I always liked? And I think, and again, I talked about this earlier about, Nickelback always had the goofy song, always had the funny. They had the one about something in your mouth, about a stripper or some shit. I'm like, all right, we've got a shark that we're jumping now. And it got to that point where it felt a little shark jumpy later on.
It figured you out?
Was it Figured You Out? I don't know. Something in Your Mouth was a song they did too, and it was like rock.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It's like, oh, come on. Rockstar. I always liked it because it was so different than anything else they were doing. And it had, Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top singing part of it. And like the whole message was just funny about being a rock star and you're kind of a piece of shit, but it was a good song. So Rockstar, number 4.
I always thought, much how we said that Nickelback is Def Leppard, if you want to grab bands from different eras, you can also play a game where you take Canadian bands and you pair them up against American bands, and Nickelback and Kid Rock
Very much so.
Nickelback and Kid Rock are in that because look at all the crossover stuff that Kid Rock did. Right. And Nickelback has some even going back, they got that cowboy, they've got some country sounding stuff.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of influences there.
They do have a lot of country, twangy sounding stuff in there too. They, polarizing like Kid Rock. They're Canadian Kid Rock.
Without the Coors Light and the wife beaters. I mean,
correct.
I guess. Yeah. And they wash their hair. I don't know. Let's see. That was number 4. Number 3, Someday was like How You Remind Me Part 2. It was another massive hit.
Huge.
It was huge. It was absolutely great. What a great song. I got nothing else to say about it. I just love it. I love Someday. When you put it on, you're like, oh yeah, that's really good. It's just a hit, That was number 3. Number 2, I put in Leader of Men because it was their first real single. And then you told me how you discovered them and Say Budweiser. And I was like, well, now I like that song a lot more today.
You're welcome.
Learned a lot. You know what? This podcast today learned a lot.
They'd be nothing. They'd be nothing without me.
I mean, fuck. I can't believe Chad hasn't called you and thanked you profusely. Number 1, Photograph. Dude, I'm a sucker for that song. I'm still a sucker for that song. I mean, think about it. That song's a hit, first of all. Second of all, the sentimentality behind it. Oh, look at this photograph. You're like, oh yeah. Like what a photograph is that? You're reliving all these memories, and you go through the song. You're like, oh, that's okay. Yeah, man. I know. It's sad too, man. Photograph. It's a great freaking song. I love it. I'll be cranking.
And everything that's come from it. I mean, like I said, that song is a meme. That song is absolutely a meme. And that doesn't go that doesn't go. I think most people, it takes them in a direction that I don't go in. It makes that song bigger to me. It makes it bigger. I mean, even if it's for other shitty reasons, it makes it bigger. It's more exposure. It's everything, it could be one of those things that, maybe that song is horribly awesome, or whatever, it's what happens to songs. But yeah, for some reason, when Nickelback comes up, people go in a different direction. I'm like, no, you're thinking of this all wrong, man. It's like they've just checked another box. Okay, now they've got, boom, that's their viral, silly, song. It makes it bigger, not less.
It reaches more people.
It adds to what they already have.
And really, at this point, it's just you and I talking. Nobody's listening because as soon as they said top 5 Nickelback, they're like, all right, we'll catch them next episode. 2 songs I did want to bring up, and you've already kind of mentioned it, actually. Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. You want to hear a ripping, crushing, smoking version of Elton John's song Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting? It's fucking Nickelback and Kid Rock.
Yep. It's
amazing. It's so fucking, it's just punches. It punches you in the face and doesn't stop. It's great. And then I don't know if this counts as Nickelback, but it's Chad Kroeger and Josie Scott from the band Saliva.
I believe Chad wrote it.
Yeah, they did a song called Hero. It was from, I don't know, one of the Spider-Man movies years ago.
Yeah.
Fucking great song as well. Yeah, fucking Nickelback. I can't believe we're talking about this. You know what I really can't believe you haven't mentioned is the fact that I didn't wear the world's greatest t-shirt for this episode. I can't believe you didn't bring it up.
I mean, my feelings hurt. You knew that going into the podcast, we're doing the Nickelback top 5, and I bought you the greatest t-shirt of all time as an homage to the great songwriter, Chad Kroeger, who's been talked about this whole podcast. And you are sitting on the fucking greatest shirt that could have enhanced the visual of what we're trying to do here. Maybe we could have got a few more people to check out our YouTube channel, but you chose to go the other way and just pretend like I never bought you that shirt at all.
You know what's great about that shirt is like my wife's like, hey, we're gonna go out to dinner, we're gonna go here. You know, every time the shirt I grab and pull out of the drawer, she's like, put that fucking thing away. She's like, I have not sat in a restaurant across from you and you're Chad Kroeger shirt. I'm like, you know what? Someday you're gonna. Someday.
See,
you're gonna.
That's just means that you're getting tired or something when you start doing that.
And then when she
it's time your tie-tie. Your tie-tie right now. It might be time for you to lay down. Because you're looking at song titles right now.
I know, and I'm trying to make jokes and they're just not connecting at all, dude.
And you're trying to come up with a couple more here, and I don't know.
It's not worth it. I'm just gonna punt on the rest of that. So yeah, Nickelback. I will go down a Nickelback rabbit hole, and I'll be cranking it this weekend at my house, and people come over going, and it'd be fun to see the reactions on their faces.
Hero
Nickelback.
Chad Kroeger wrote it. Of course, he wrote it. It's fucking killer songwriter. Killer songwriter. I mean, Josie was lucky to be on that track, but it is a really, really good song. Just because Too Bad. Too Bad from Silver Side Up is an amazing song. I had Someday on there. I did have Figured You Out.
Yes, Figured Out is great. What's the they had a song, son of a bitch. If I had done some research. There's a song, is it Saturday Night, Last Night? It's like this strummy, almost Creedence Clearwater Revival sounding song. It's talking about just getting drunk on your back porch and all this shit. It's a great drinking song.
I'm sure they have it.
Fuck, what is it called? I don't know. I'll figure it out later. It's like Saturday Night or Last Night or Back Porch or some shit. I mean, someone's screaming at their podcast right now going, you dumb fuck, here's what it's called.
I mean, these podcasts don't sneak up on you, dude. We have a whole week. Like guess what? We're going to do one next Wednesday. So if you want,
that's the rumor.
If you want to do any research before that, I mean, you've got a week, bro.
I'll tell you right now.
I know you're a program director. You're all busy over there.
No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to fucking happen. Anyway, Last Night, I think is what it's called. I don't know. I'll look it up later and I'll put it on somewhere. So, yeah, I can't believe we went down a Nickelback road here, dude.
Yeah, because they're fucking great, dude. That's why.
They are. And I can't wait to see the comments. So please leave your comments. Leave your top 5 favorite Nickelback songs. I can't say it without laughing. I had no trouble saying it last week with the Bee Gees.
You're the only one that's making a big deal of it, dude. It's fucking Nickelback. It's awesome.
I like the band.
I just told you how well they were received this morning in a major market here, playing their brand new song. I opened up the phones. I opened up my heart. I opened up my email, and I thought people were going to come in and stomp on it, and they didn't. They couldn't. So maybe enough time, like you had alluded to earlier, maybe enough time has passed where it's like, okay, there's a new generation of people that don't know about, all the jokes and stuff. And hey, I don't know why I'm supposed to not like this band. They sound pretty good to me. And maybe that'll be, moving forward. God, if there's one band that deserves it, it's Nickelback. They deserve a fucking break.
All right, everyone, you've heard Rod. He's the leader of men. He's got it.
Okay.
He's a rock star. What can we say?
Okay. I mean, I think I am going to come there tomorrow before the game and slap you around.
Well, you're not coming tomorrow, but someday. See, I got it back, baby.
No, you don't.
This is how I remind you. Wow, I can do this all day.
Can we do final thoughts?
Yes, my final thought is somebody send us a list of top 5 so we don't have to do fucking these ones anymore. No, I'm kidding. You know what, Rod? I don't have one. I got a week to come up with this, and you think I have one? No. Okay, you know what? I do have one. And I thought about this, and I wasn't going to do it because I was like, this is just fucking hacky. But you know what? Fuck it. We just did Nickelback. So if you're on the interstate, right, and you got multiple lanes, we all know left lane, hauling ass, get the fuck out of it if you're not doing 90, right? This is an obvious. A lot of cities, a lot of communities will have 2-lane highways or roads, I guess, right? Roads. They're not highways, they're roads. Okay, 2 lanes, right? And you cruise along 2 lanes. But the speed limit is like 35. There's streets like that all over New Orleans. 35, 2 lanes. And I'm going to ask this question. I just want to put it out to the room. Do the same rules really apply when it's 2 lanes like that? When top speed, the speed limit is like 35. Okay. So if you're in the left lane, you're humming along 35, 40, and someone's on your ass fucking giving you shit, right? Tailgating you.
Sawing away at your bumper.
Just fucking grinding your trailer hitch. You know what I mean? It's like, I get it. Okay, crew. Dude, I'm not going to speed up here. I'm doing 35, 40 in a 35. I might saunter my way over and get in the slow lane because I get it. You got some fucking shit to do. But do the same rules apply? I mean, the obvious answer to me in my head is yes, but fucking relax, bro. The speed limit's 35.
Yeah, but you got to let that guy go. If he wants to fucking grip it and rip it and go, you got to get out of his way.
Oh, no. And I did, but he's giving me all kinds of shit as he goes by. I'm like, hey, fuck you, dude. It's 35. So I just, hey, it's 30. It's a city. There's kids.
He probably recognized you. He's like, oh, that's a fucking Jason Ginty dickhead does that stupid podcast.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it. That happens so often, right? It's like,
it had nothing to do with your speed. It was you were recognized.
Yeah, I was like, and then I'm like, well, what the fuck, man?
The dummy that talks about Nickelback for an hour.
An hour of Nickelback. Wow. Even Nickelback doesn't talk about Nickelback for that long. So yeah, it's just like, hey, man, like I got shit to do too. I get it. And I got out of the way, but man, it doesn't feel like the same rules totally apply when you're in the city limits like that. You know what I mean? It just felt weird. I was like, all right, bro, but whatever. That's just driving. Driving sucks. I fucking hate it. How about you, Rod? Any final thoughts that are better than that one?
Well, I just wanted to mention 2 things that we have on the books already, and it's almost sold out. So we got our Boobs Rock Golf Tournament, and it is October 19th. It's a noon shotgun start, and you can still sign up a 1-some, 2-some, 3-some, 4-some. And I think like 3 guys in my neighborhood are in. So they need a 4-some. They need a 4th. I know you're a big program director. October 18th.
That's a fucking Tuesday. Not to shit on your day, but I get it. A golf course is only available certain days. I got it. It's a Tuesday.
Is it a Tuesday? Oh shit, it's a Tuesday. Yeah, it is a Tuesday. We got big sponsors in. We got our Admiral Transfer and Rigging. They came in for $5,000. What? And then I got the Texas Hammer, $2,500. Ron Hoover RV gave me $2,500. CityWideInjury.com. Centergenics is in. Those guys are all in for $2,500, man. So we have probably 30 teams left. No. We don't have 30 teams. I think we have 10 foursomes left.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there's maybe 40 spots left. So it's the Boobs Rock. It's this one. I mean, I haven't been doing this one quite as long, man. Doing one tournament is a lot. This is the one that I started doing like as a second tournament. So you can go to links and guests at thebuzz.com, get information on that. And then this one is on a weekend and it's a car show.
Ooh, I like cars.
And it's the second annual. So I did one last year and if you go to Links and Guests, again, the second annual Rod Ryan Boobs Rock Car Show, my man Sean over at West Houston Muscle, he does it all, start to finish. This guy is such a go-getter. I told iHeart to hire him. He's so good. He puts this event on, dude. It's unbelievable. He goes, runs out, gets sponsors, gets all the prize money, just knows how to work it from start to finish. I'm like, dude, what do we need to rope off? He goes, dude, I got it. Well, where did the cars come in? What's the flow? Dude, I got it. Wow. This guy, Sean, unbelievable how it's so easy for me. And this information is out there and you can still get your car involved. And I know you got an old jalopy over there. Get your car in this thing, dude.
What's the dates on this car show?
It is a Saturday and it is October 1st. Oh, wow. So it's 10 to 2 and all cars, doesn't matter what it is, just get it in there, and awards for the top 10 finishers. And all the money, again, Boobs Rock, all the money's going to go to MD Anderson. And then we're going to have hopefully by the time we talk next week, we'll have the store open.
Oh, nice.
And then we'll have all new T-shirts and all kinds of stuff I'll be begging you guys to buy. So yeah, we're fundraising already.
I could fly in on September 30th, stay at your house through the golf tournament, and then fly home on the 19th. Dude, me in your house for like 3 weeks. What do you think? Good idea? Bad idea?
It's a long time.
It's a long time, dude. And then you can get Nickelback to come over and play.
Okay. That's it. We got to go.
No? All right. Thought I'd try.
We got to go. Shut it down. Shut it down.
That's enough for today, I say. Yeah. All right. Well, check us out on our socials at PlayPantsPod. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on the Twitters. This podcast is also on YouTube. You can watch this horseshit and leave your comments there. I know a lot of people love to leave comments on the YouTube channel, which is great. We'll hit you back. One of us will at some point. And we love hearing about your top 5 favorites of whatever we're talking about. So this thing is available everywhere. And if you got ideas for any top 5 lists, believe me, we'll take them. And
can you get it to Jason ASAP so he's not caught off guard?
No, I'll blow it off to the last minute like I do with everything else. It's just my way.
Give it tours.
Yeah, a little busy these days, Rod. I'm a little busy. I ain't got time for come up with Nickelback songs. You know what I mean? I ain't got time for that shit. All right, dude, I've had enough. We'll do it again next week. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Do it again next week. I'm in.
Love it.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Let's go. It's time. Put on pants.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. See us on our YouTube channel and follow our social media pages at PlayPantsPod.